Successfully working until your late 60s, is it possible? Does the prospect of working until your late 60s fill you with fear and dread? The UK pensionable age increases to 66 for men and women from October 2020. Even these ages are set to increase over the next decade, resulting in many people having to work until their late 60s. Does this fill you with joy to carry on working until your mid to late 60s, or are the feelings of fear and dread more realistic? Maybe you're one of the fortunate ones who are already doing something that you love, and you love the idea of doing it until you retire. You could also be in denial about having to work all that time, or perhaps you really just don't want to think about all that right now. Maybe you'll try and wing it and see what happens. Let fate decide how you spend your last working years. However, I have a few proactive and positive alternatives instead. How about thriving in your current line of work? How about managing your work and your transition into retirement in your own way? Or how about doing something entirely different altogether? So there are various strategies you could take to try and thrive in your current line of work. The starting point often includes taking stock of your existing skills and experience and trying to match these up to current and future opportunities in your current business or your current field of work. Another strategy could involve trying to future-proof your career by learning and developing. This is especially important with the reality of increasing automation and the use of robots and artificial intelligence. Our current jobs may need to transform to manage a new hybrid workforce. Some of the jobs of yesteryear have already lessened in importance or no longer exist. Some have disappeared that were around when I joined the workplace just 20 years ago. It's impossible to tell exactly what will happen in the future, but what is absolutely certain is that work as we know it will continue to evolve and change. Some changes may occur at task level and some whole roles may become extinct. You could focus on elements of your role that are dependent on human skills, including judgment, relationships, interaction, etc., versus other parts that could be more easily replaced. You could also stay abreast of developments in your field. Alternatively, you could look for ways to enhance your value and demonstrate it to your employer, current or future. This could include professional development, keeping up with changes and developments in your field, technology, training, or learning new and complementary skills to keep you on top of your game. As an experienced staff member, there could well be opportunities to disseminate your knowledge and provide support to other people. This could benefit your employer and your colleagues and enhancing your own personal worth as well. Coaching and mentoring is an excellent way to successfully keep working until your late 60s. When many people visualise their retirement, they often see themselves on holiday, spending time with family or pottering in their garden. Fewer people consciously plan their actual transition from working life to retired life. I've discussed this with a number of people in their 50s and 60s. They often reach a point where they start thinking about their retirement, but there doesn't seem to be a kind of one-size-fits-all approach. For example, they might have a clean break. They might work till their 65th birthday and then retire immediately thereafter. This can work well for some, but can also be a rude shock for others. They might have a reduced working schedule, fewer hours per day or fewer days per week. Reductions can be in various steps until ultimate retirement is reached. Or maybe switching to a different role, possibly one that's less taxing, demanding, or stressful. There are various factors that can influence the transition and the age and stage at which it happens. Number 1, your health. Number 2, the type of work you do and the capacity in which you work. Number 3, caring responsibilities and dependents outside of work, including parents, grandparents, children, and grandchildren. Number 4, the actual motivation to work and alternative sources of motivation. Number 5, your financial situation and projection. And number 6, your employer's working policies and practices. The important thing is to work out what the ideal situation is for you and then to discuss this with your employer. Now, this isn't always easy, so it's often a good idea to get some support in this area. Consulting ACAS online, for example, for some ideas. ACAS gives employers and employees free and impartial advice on workplace rights, rules and best practices. Or working with a coach or mentor could also help you to shape your own specific solution. Have you ever dreamed about doing something different? If so, what stopped you before? And more to the point, what's stopping you now? Given the amount of time you've still got left to work, isn't it worth doing something you feel really passionate about? Change can come in a number of different guises. It doesn't always need to be drastic. For example, a new role. Maybe you've done the same role for a while. Could there be alternative opportunities within your existing organisation? Or a new company. Maybe you've worked for the same employer for a while and you'd like to change, but you just wouldn't know where to start. Maybe you find yourself out of a job. This is often a great opportunity for a new start. A new career. Possibly you'd like to do something completely different. You could retrain in a completely new field. Or a new business. Have you always fancied being your own boss, either in your existing field of work or something completely different? Some of these options sound pretty exciting, yet challenging. Change isn't always comfortable or easy, but having spoken to many people who have made these changes, they rarely regret their decision. The good news is that successfully working until your late 60s is possible. Many of us realistically face the prospect of having to work until our late 60s. If you're not already living the dream, why not take some proactive steps and turn your situation into something positive rather than something that you fear and dread? All of the options mentioned in this video are completely achievable, and it's really never too late for you to take some action. However, you will need to make some decisions and take some positive actions to achieve these goals. If you need any support in any of these ways or more, Blue Diamond can help you to take control of your work and your life.